So let's talk a little bit about strata living because for the most part, anybody that's lived in a strata before, if you ask them, they're going to tell you that they absolutely hate it. And there's a variety of reasons for this, whether it's the strata fees that they have to pay on a monthly basis. Maybe they've got neighbors, whether they're living in their complex or even right next door or above them, wherever. They drive them absolutely crazy. What about things like taking elevators to get everywhere, up and down to your car, to your storage unit? What about things getting old and needing replacement or budgeting for the future, or just things generally breaking all over the place that cost you money? Yeah, we're talking about special levies. And one of the biggest things that I find people absolutely hate about living in stratas is just the rules and bylaws, the restrictions on your day-to-day living. Now, it's not to say that everybody hates living in a strata. That's certainly a little bit of a strong thing to say, but I think most people would agree that if they didn't have to, if it wasn't that necessary evil in terms of the affordability for them to actually own and live in a home, they probably would opt out about that. But this video today, it's not to tell you all about the challenges with living in a strata. It's to tell you about what happens when those challenges, when they become a reality. What happens when things go wrong, when there's disputes amongst neighbors, when the strata council isn't treating its owners or yourself specifically fairly. There's so many things that go wrong, but what are your options as a homeowner to help set them right and set course so things are actually running the way that they should be? If you're someone watching this and you're thinking about buying a townhome or a condominium anywhere in the province of British Columbia, or maybe you are a homeowner living in a strata property, this video is definitely for you because I'm going to let you know one of the best tools available to help with problems when you run into them living in these sorts of environments. And for most, it's not a question of if they have a problem, it's more so when they do. So if you want to learn about this incredible tool available to you, hang around because we're going to get into that right now. Only get one chance to buy or sell your next home. Let's get it right. Hey, worth mentioning, my name is Darren. I am a real estate professional serving the Surrey and White Rock neighborhoods since 2007. And since then, we've helped hundreds and hundreds of families find their next home or get out of their current situation, and all do it in a way that was controlled, they were educated, and they felt really good about their decisions. Now, this YouTube channel is dedicated to everything about the Surrey and South Surrey areas and everything going on in the wild world of BC real estate. However, if you need help with your own real estate situation, you can book a time to speak with me and my team in the description below. We meet people just like you every single day from this YouTube channel. And if there's information we can help provide you with or give you things to put you in a better spot, then we know that we have served you well with this information, such as what you're going to hear in today's video. So go ahead and book a time below if you'd like to speak with me and my team. Okay, so I've kind of explained some of the many reasons why people don't really love living in a strata, but let's talk about what happens when things go wrong. What are your options? Issues like a dispute with the neighbors above you, beside you, below you, people that live in your complex, or what about a heavy-handed strata council where they just seem like they're being unfair? Or what happens when all of the owners in the building maybe don't agree on doing certain upgrades that are really going to protect rather the longevity and the future resale value of your building? That's all really important stuff and really important to consider. But oftentimes the problem is you as an individual owner, you just feel like your hands are tied. You feel like there's no recourse. There's nothing you can do to make things better. So what do you do? Well, of course, there's the law, right? Like there's laws in British Columbia. There's many, many laws that kind of govern how stratas need to function as well. There's lots of other stuff that people don't even know about. You know, you've got the Strata Property Regulation, you've got the Civil Resolution Tribunal Act, the Limitation Act, the Employment Standards Act, Workers' Compensation Act, Human Rights Code, Personal Information Protection Act, Safety Standards Act, Local Government Bylaws, Environmental Management Act, Building Act, and BC Building Code, and Homeowner Protection Act. You've got all this crazy stuff that's there to protect you. But that's a huge list, and how are you ever supposed to know all of the things that are on that, all of the rules, and even your council, the people that volunteer to help operate the strata, even they aren't going to have a firm grasp on every single one of the rules and regulations and guidelines that exist in everything that I just mentioned. And oftentimes when there's an issue in a strata property, you're going to try and get your council to understand what the problem is and ideally agree with you. And if they are going to agree with you, maybe they also need to get the entire community, or at least a majority of the community, to agree that something is a problem and it needs to be fixed. But oftentimes, what ends up happening is, well, maybe not everybody sees the same way that you do, and you hit a wall. You stop finding success. You stop being able to move things forward that are for the betterment of your use and enjoyment of your unit, or even just the property and the building itself. Now, these legal requirements can impact not just strata owners, but also buyers, realtors, residents, and anyone who relies on a strata corporation to operate properly. While this is by no means a complete list, and not all of these apply in every situation, they form the broader legal landscape that stratas operate within. Stratas must meet their legal obligations, and owners and strata buyers and realtors and other stakeholders, they should all be aware of these requirements. They need to recognize the potential of non-compliance. In fact, there's many stratas out there that do not comply with the monstrous list of all these rules and regulations that I just gave you, and they need to evaluate those risks if they are non-compliant and obtain the appropriate guidance about what to do to fix it, remedy it, whatever that might be, before they even commit to moving forward with a purchase. But we're talking about somebody that already lives there. What if you are already an owner, right? So even with all this legislative framework in place, compliance just simply doesn't always happen. It's the reality of it. You've got well-meaning strata council members that are typically owners, but they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. At least they hope that they are well-meaning, but I guess you would assume they would be, but that's not always the case either. So when everything else fails, all the things that we've mentioned that strata councils and the owners of the strata corporation are meant to follow, when all else fails and it's just not working the way that it needs to, owners are often left wondering what options they have. When a strata ignores the law or fails to address clear instances of non-compliance, they're just not doing something that you know deep down that they should be. And that's a problem. So what's your solution? What's the resolution, and how do you fix it? Hey, before we get into the big reveal, I want to let you know about a free download you can get right now called 21 Grants and Rebates, available for home buyers and homeowners. These are all of the hard to find niche programs offered by the federal government, provincial government, and other programs that we could source that will help save you thousands on your next purchase. They're not easy to find, so we've made it easy because we've included links, descriptions, and all the information you need to make sure that you can take advantage of these programs, because there is no point in giving away more money when you buy a home or not getting all the money you deserve when programs like these exist. So if you're interested in grabbing a copy of that, you can get it in the description of this video below. And I know it's going to save you a ton of dough. All right, let's do the big reveal. In comes the Civil Resolution Tribunal. Introduced in 2016, the Civil Resolution Tribunal has played a central role in resolving strata disputes. The CRT, as it's also called, is an online tribunal designed to make conflict resolution more accessible without the need for you to go to a place like BC Supreme Court to start a lawsuit. For strata corporations, the CRT has jurisdiction over most strata-related claims. However, it does not have the authority to deal with certain matters, such as issues involving constitutional questions or allegations under the Human Rights Code or things like that. But what does the CRT handle more specifically? Well, it can help you with issues like non-payment of strata fees or fines, unfair actions taken by the strata corporation, unfair or arbitrary or non-enforcement of strata bylaws, issues of financial responsibility for repairs, irregularities in the conduct of meetings, voting, minutes, or other matters, interpretation of the legislation, regulations, or bylaws, or issues regarding the common property. So now that we know that there's a tool out there that can help with all this without having to go file a lawsuit and go to the BC Supreme Court, I mean, that just seems absolutely crazy. Well, how does the process work to get the CRT involved when you feel like things just aren't going right and there's a better way forward? Because many people find themselves having the exact issues that I just outlined. Well, rather than go to court, which is time consuming, it's incredibly expensive, and plus you're probably going to grow a lot of gray hairs doing so, here's the 4 steps that it really takes to file a CRT claim and get it to fruition. The first is you apply. You submit your claim and outline the issue. The second is negotiation. The parties to the complaint, communicate online to try and reach a resolution. The third step is facilitation. A CRT facilitator works with both sides to help settle the dispute. And the fourth is adjudication. If no agreement is reached, a tribunal member issues a binding court enforceable decision. Understanding the rights, responsibilities, and processes for everybody living in a strata corporation is incredibly important. With the right information, the right support, the right mechanisms to handle problems, disputes among strata owners or individuals, even just like yourself. And actually, it's not even just limited to that. You've got realtors, you've got potential buyers who want to live there, or even neighboring buildings or residents that might be affected by some of the decisions being made in that particular strata. We now know that there's a mechanism to help right the wrong, to help make things better, regardless of whether the majority of the people living in a strata agree with you or not. So I've got a few questions of you. The first being, well, do you live in a strata? And if so, were you even aware of the Civil Resolutions Tribunal and how that can impact any dispute resolution or problems you may be having with your strata? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're somebody that's looking at buying into a strata, maybe it's your first one, maybe it's not, we have an incredible playlist on this YouTube channel all about buying your very first home, as well as a playlist on buying new construction. So pick whichever one makes most sense for you, but this is where we break down step by step into the nitty gritty, all the information that you need to make an intelligent purchase on what might be your most expensive purchase of your life. That said, if you are considering new construction, the video coming up next is a very popular one, and it's all about all of the reasons, or among many of the reasons, that we recommend that people never, ever buy new construction in the province of British Columbia because of all of the pitfalls that are surely on their way. If you're curious about what those might be, and it even sparks a little bit of interest and concern, I definitely recommend checking that out because it could protect you from making a massive, massive mistake. So the good news is that video is coming up next, and I'll see you over there right now. Should you avoid buying new construction? Should you avoid buying pre-sale from a developer? After watching this video, you might consider doing so. We've seen thousands of new home buyers go after new construction in the province of British Columbia and the Lower Mainland directly to the developer, excited about what they're going to get or what they think they're going to get. But this is where we see developers take advantage of excited would-be home buyers